Is Erie a bad place to live? I'm looking at moving to Erie around February of next year. I've heard so many mixed things about how bad or ghetto it is in the suburbs. I'm coming from SoCal around the likes of Hemet and Amp, San Jacinto as well as South Bay San Diego. I'm planning on renting a house there and it seems super affordable. I'd love to be able to find a house in a community of long-time residents rather than renters that come and go. Thanks for the help. This is far short of LA if that's what you're asking. An armed robbery at a gas station will make the news. There are 9 or so inner-city fatalities at most. In neighborhoods like Mill Creek and Fairview, you get more violence at a cross-country meet than any time else. Make sure you have a job lined up before you move here, or you'll be working at the mall or in fast food. Jobs are sparse here. There is growing crime and drug use in the city, however, it will likely be tamer compared to where you currently live. You are in for a surprise when you see all the snow in February. I grew up north of Pittsburgh and came here for college. I loved it so stayed after graduation. There's a lot to love. It's really affordable. There is a lot to do, especially if you like outdoor activities. There's a blues and jazz festival every year, quarterly gallery nights, and much more. I just bought a house downtown, and I think we will see the downtown continue to revitalize itself in the coming years. Even though it's a high population of renters, I'd recommend you look there. You'll hear bad things about the Lower East Side, but I think anything north of 6th Street is okay. Send me a message if you want more information. My company may also have housing available. The crime might have increased last year, but it's not random and I've never felt unsafe. Erie native here. Seems that over the last couple of years, there has been an increase in crime, specifically shootings and heroin ODs. I work in the city and have not had a problem. Used to live in Springfield too, 20 miles west, but now live in SW Mill Creek, and have had no issues at all. Basically, the inner city/Lower East Side is where most of the problems are. If you want to be named, I think you have 3 paid options: emergency care, Mill Creek paramedic services, and maybe West County paramedics. Lots of volunteer opportunities with VFDs, as Erie City is the only paid fire department. I don't know a lot about that though. We have 4 seasons, highest we see is generally in the high 80s, with a day or two above 90. In the winter, it will be below 0 and we sometimes get 100 inches of snow over the winter. Traffic is not bad. Cost of living is cheap. Hope that helps. Born, raised, and still living in the area. Personally, I don't like it. Pros: it is an affordable area to live in. Sunsets are beautiful, especially down at Presque. Downtown usually has something going during the summer: Celebrate Erie, pub crawls, Roar on the Shore. We have 4 public high schools and 3 private high schools along with 3 private colleges in the city. The surrounding area has more, so if you want to have kids it is not the absolute worst place to raise a family. We have a decent amount of cultural diversity that gets celebrated with festivals: Irish Festival, Greek, Polish, and some really good regional food, pepperoni balls, Smith's hot dogs. Cons: finding a job can be difficult at times depending on what you are qualified to do. GE is most likely shutting down within the next few years, which I think will be a massive hit to the area as that is the biggest manufacturer in the surrounding area. Increase in violent crime, mostly Lower East Side, heroin ODs on the rise, might help the M's bit, and sometimes gives me a mini Detroit feel. An increase in drugs, crime, etc. Snow. Some people love it. I hate it. We get a lot of it. Like consistently in the top 3 to 5 snowiest cities in the country every year. That's the gist of it. We have some culture with fests and a couple of small museums and centers, like the Trek, as well. Erie is too big to be a small town but too small to be a big city if you catch my vibe. I moved to Erie in February 2015. There were about 2.5 feet of snow on the ground, the temperature was below zero and we didn't see a positive temperature for the next week. You're going to love it. I would be more concerned about finding a job if you work in any sort of technical field than about anything else, really. Also, the Erie School District is on the brink of shutting down, last I heard, so that might be a concern. I moved to the Erie area from a high-crime area in North Carolina in May of this year. We love it. Like you, we were sick of so much heat for most of the year. There are a ton of outdoor activities and always something going on. If you don't like the outdoors, you may not like it as much. The cost of living is good. Gasoline is the only thing that is more expensive for us. Like you, we picked Erie based on temporary workers and a job. We do not regret it one bit. Good luck to you. Born and raised in Erie, recently moved to NYC. I am going to be completely honest with you. Moving away from Erie was one of the best things I've ever done. Erie is severely lacking in culture and variety, and violence crime is getting worse by the day. However, it sounds like it might be a good place for you to continue your career. I would recommend finding a place in Mill Creek, particularly near McDowell High School, that general area. I lived in a beautiful apartment on that side of town and never had any issues. The cost of living is amazing, utilities are super cheap, and the traffic and drivers in general are not bad at all. That being said, the Erie lifestyle just wasn't for me. I love the big city, but if you're able to find a job, I think you'll be just fine. Be prepared for long, cold winters though. The summers are about as good as you can get anywhere. Block parties nearly every week downtown, affordable boat jet ski rental, plenty of bars, restaurants on the bayfront with a gorgeous view of the water. Prescal Beaches won an award for best freshwater beaches in the country. Really can't think of a city that makes better use of its waterfront. From about May to September, Erie is phenomenal. After that, not so much. Winters are brutal. You will go a long time without seeing the sun, which in my opinion is worse than the cold and snow. All the tourism leaves and the city kind of goes into hibernation. There are still some things to do. If you live downtown, the bar scene is above average and cheap, and there are minor league hockey and basketball teams to watch in the winter, which is a lot of fun as well. Erie native here. As long as you're on the west side, you should be fine. It'll be quite the weather shock coming from SoCal. Get your snow tires on. Also, bundle up. We have a few deaths every year because drunk Southern college kids freeze to death. Summers are great, to the point where if you can't find anything to do, it's your fault. There are 8 great Tuesdays, the Arts Festival, We Love, Tolerate, Erie Days and the Cherry Festival. Winters are insanely long, miserable, frigid. In February, you're lucky to hit 0, and boring. There's the Super Bowl, usually in January, not sure when it is in 2017, and various Christmas festivals. Otherwise, you're waiting till St. Patrick's Day for any sort of fun, and the rest doesn't start up till May. Otherwise, get your year of experience. You'll get sick of the puns, especially around Halloween, and move somewhere bigger. It's not really bad, but if you can't handle the snow and colder weather, you'll be in for a rough time. I'm talking about -20-degree temperatures, and snow levels up to, if not more, than 2 feet. We usually don't get that type of weather, at least as of more recent years, until after Christmas, January, or February. Make sure to have some snow tires and a good snow brush in your ride. On the good side though, the summers around here are great. Our sunsets, and hell, even our sunrises, are ranked the best in the country, and there is always something to do during the summer. Also, Prescal, the peninsula, offers amazing views and things to do, free or affordable. That all being said, Erie is not without faults. Our school system is kinda hurting at the moment. GE, our biggest employer, is slowly going under, and jobs are sparse in general unless you are looking to work at our local mall. It's shaped like a gun. Fast food, retail, or something like the zoo or our amusement park Waldemar. Also, the crime is pretty rough with heroin and meth getting worse. But it's obviously completely different than something like LA. If that's what you are used to. Honestly, if you live in the city, that's where the bulk of the crime is going to be around here. Look into moving to either Lawrence Park, Harbor Creek, Mill Creek, or Fairview. I live in Lawrence Park, the east side of the city, and it's about 10 to 20 minutes from downtown Peach St., the shopping area of town, and is typically quiet and calm. I don't know what you mean by bad or ghetto by the suburbs. The suburbs around Erie are as well. The opposite of that is possible. The main issue is getting a job. If you have that, I say you are good to go, and you'll be fine. Everyone else pretty much covered it all, so I won't say much more. I just wanted to back up what everyone else is saying. If you are young and like to go out and get the downtown experience, I would suggest moving into an apartment or house downtown. All the bars are within walking distance. The west side is nice because Gannon police keep it under control, but then you deal with a bunch of college kids. I suggest it because really in the winter there is nothing else to do but drink. Former Erie, and here Erie is a nice place. It's very beautiful. But where I grew up, I guess I got unlucky. I experienced a lot of crime as a kid. A few of those are shooter bomb threats at my school. I've also experienced robberies. But that was all back when I was a kid. I'm sure it's not as bad now. Just don't go into the inner city too much. I heard as a kid that the inner city was dangerous. Thanks for watching. Please comment, like, share and subscribe. The Internet Surfer on YouTube for more horror and scary stories.